What sport is safer, NASCAR or the NFL? Joey Logano says driving 200-mile-per-hour stock cars safer than playing professional football. I'm Kerry Chow, joined by ESPN Lions reporter Michael Rothstein. Michael, why does Logano say that NASCAR is safer than the NFL?
Well, this all started with the question he got while he was visiting Lions practice on Tuesday during OTAs. He was basically asked, what do you think when you see NFL players tackle each other and some of those big hits? He said he'd rather be in a race car. And the reason that he said that was that there's more protection around him and that he feels that driving NASCAR at 200 miles an hour is safer than playing in the NFL. Why did he think that? Basically, the totality of the hit. He looks at it and he sees, once every 15 races or so, he's in a wreck, or at least a bad wreck. NFL, you can get hit 15 to 20 times a game. Now, granted, those hits maybe aren't as devastating as a NASCAR wreck, but they do add up. And I think from understanding and from really kind of parsing Logano's words, that really seems to be where he was going with those comments.
Now, you've covered some NASCAR in the past. What do you think?
I think it's an interesting question. I think in the short term, racing is probably more dangerous just because when you look at it, there haven't really been fatalities in the NFL. But between auto racing, between NASCAR and then open wheel racing a few years ago with Dan Weldon as an example, if you're in a bad wreck, there is the chance you could die. And that, despite all the safety measures, to me, for short term, would make NASCAR more dangerous. Now, in the long term, I think football might be more dangerous because you look at the increased amount of concussions between all the lawsuits that are going on and the more acknowledgement of CTEs. And when you look at NASCAR, guys can race for seasons and then be perfectly fine afterwards, where if you look at a lot of NFL players, they a lot of times will have injuries. Even if it's not a brain injury, they'll struggle to walk. Their bodies will ache. Their bodies will have aged. And to me, that makes football perhaps the long-term, later in life, more dangerous sport, where NASCAR, because of the constant threat of a big wreck, maybe turns that in the short term as the more dangerous.
It's certainly an interesting debate right there. ESPN Lions reporter Michael Rothstein. Thanks, Michael, for joining us. I'm Kerry Chow with your latest ESPN headline.